So there's a brief discussion here, but basically the data set we're going to be working on is a transit of WASP-43, an eclipse from WASP-43b taken as part of the JWST Transiting Exoplanet Community ERS program, this program 1366. So these data are published and it's part of a full orbit phase curve. And for the purposes of this notebook, we're just going to be focusing in on the first couple of, the first couple hundred exposure integrations from this program to just look at the first eclipse. It'll save us a bunch of time waiting for computations to run. So again, normally you should be able to do this at present. You'll want to ignore that. And then we get into this configuration area here. You shouldn't need to change this at all, but this path here is where you will specify where you want your data to be stored. For reference, this tilde references your home directory, which on the left is this root directory here. And then you specify wherever you want your data to go. If you're running this on your local machine, this will be your home directory, and you can specify the path however you like. And the subsequent code will make any folder that doesn't exist. So if I ran this, it would make this data, JWST, JWebbinar 41, LRS, and that's where all of our files are going to be saved. And then, you can either press this button to run one cell at a time, or you can do Shift Enter to run one cell at a time. Just because this part is relatively boring, I won't be running these particular cells. And that's basically all that you will need to set up for this particular notebook. Everything else here has been specifically tuned to download the uncalibrated data from program 1366, which, as mentioned up above here, is from this ERS program. And so, there's some kind of finicky stuff here to just get a smaller subset of the data that we want for these particular notebooks. Then there's some code here that you can look through if you desire, but it's basically how you can query mast from a Jupyter notebook or a Python environment to figure out how to download the data. And then there's some code here. You can either run this cell if you're running it on your own machine, and that will download data from mast. But if you're running it on Jupyter Hub here, you can use this cell here instead to download it from Amazon Web Services, which is going to be much faster. It runs really quite fast. And then just kind of a final check to make sure that all files downloaded correctly. And then the last two cells here are downloading some cached files from the Jupyter Hub environment. These, again, I think will probably go away in a couple of weeks, I assume. I don't know for sure. So you'll want to download them to your personal computer if you don't want to keep them. And these cells basically just copy them from that repository into this repository here. And they basically exist just to save us all time of having to wait for 15 minutes for some data to run.